This is a video that I've been debating on making for a little while now, and I finally just decided, screw it, let's make this video. Now, as you can see from the title, I'm recovering from some stuff. Oh, nice little Ninja 400 there, or 300, not sure which. Now, I wasn't a drug addict or anything like that. Never really been much into drugs. Of course, when I was younger, you know, smoke weed, stuff like that, you know. Nothing crazy. Never was my thing of choice, to be honest. Drinking was my vice. I think I started drinking probably back when, I don't know, let's see. I started drinking really, I guess, when, I don't know, 16, 17, 18, somewhere around there. And it wasn't like I was getting trashed then. I never was like that kid that got trashed at parties. I didn't even go out and party as a kid, really. You know, I didn't sneak out. You know, I didn't ever, my parents never had to pick me up from a drunk tank. None of that stuff. You know, especially like after I got, you know, older and, you know, of legal age, then I started drinking, really. I started drinking more then, let me rephrase that, because of the availability since I was able to purchase it. You know, beer here and there, some liquor, but my vice was definitely liquor, specifically whiskey. Started drinking and everything, and, you know, in and out of it, you know, wouldn't get too wasted. Well, then I went through a really crappy time with divorce and everything, and, you know, what do you want to do when you're going through a really rough time? I decided to drink more. Now, most of that was with my buddies and everything, and, you know, I kept it pretty good in at bay. Primarily, I would drink with my buddies. And that always involved, you know, video games, cooking out, and, you know, not getting too hammered. I remember one incident where it was post-divorce, and actually it was the first time I think I ever blacked out. Was we kind of like threw this impromptu cookout and everything when my ex-wife just left my house for good. And it was a good time. However, I blacked out. I remember everything leading up to it. I don't remember going to sleep, but I did put myself to bed and apparently cleaned the entire house while blackout drunk. So yeah, anyway, fast forward a few years, you know, through a few really crappy relationships and everything that really messed with my head. And I started drinking more. And I had moved away from most of my friends and everything. Wow, that was crappy. Had moved away from most of my friends and family and everything, so didn't have much to do. Didn't have internet where I was. So, what do? You listen to music and drink. Well, I started drinking more and more alone, and got to the point of, now I did reel myself back in from this, so this was like maybe 4 years ago. At one point I was crushing, you know, 2 handles of whiskey a week. That's not healthy, by far. That is not healthy at all. But saw my trend and stopped. I didn't stop completely, I just dialed it back. So then I get, you know, this nice paying job up here and move and everything, or go to move, and I wasn't really able to find a place to live, mostly because I have pit bulls. Now I only have one. I did find a home for the little puppy and everything, just I didn't have enough time to dedicate to him. It sucked. It sucked, but he's got an awesome home now. A friend of a friend adopted him, and you can just tell he loves life there. I mean, he's fat and happy. So anyway, had both the dogs, couldn't find a place to live to save my life, because pit bulls. And I'm not going to get rid of, especially my real big pit, not going to get rid of my super big sweethearted pit bull because of a housing issue. It's just how I am. The only place I could find, luckily, a friend of mine, I couldn't run a room off of them, but she had a camper, and it was going to be great, you know, like they had all the hookups and everything to put the camper, like, you know, all this stuff. Well, turns out the camper wouldn't start, so we couldn't move it. And at that point, I'd already turned in, like an idiot, of course, had already turned in my my notice with my current landlord, and couldn't back out of it. So that was I was like, okay, cool, well, this is going to be temporary anyway, you know, I'll find something, I'm sure I'll find something. But I didn't find anything. So come winter, I had a generator, and that was it. No running water, no nothing. And it's just, you know, all due to me, you know, just not planning ahead like I should have. So, stuck in this camper. My only source of entertainment is, you know, like my iPad, basically. And that's it. So pretty much just work and sleep. Work and sleep. That's pretty much all I did. My days off, you know, I would get out on the bike. There's some vlogs from there, you know. And I was drinking like crazy. You know, even like middle of the day, I would, you know, start drinking sometimes. I never really went out and about once I started drinking. But then the holidays hit. It's cold. It's miserable in the camper. I have no heat. And it gets cold over here. So I just start drinking and drinking and drinking. Mostly to be able to sleep, because then, you know, you get that false sense of warmth. You don't really feel the cold. You don't really care about much because you're feeling good. You're inebriated. You feel good. And a lot of my drinking also stems from just anxiety, depression. I tried different drugs and stuff like that, and nothing really worked for me. So I just continued to self-medicate. Long and short of it, I continued to self-medicate. You know, wintertime hits, I start drinking even heavier, because holidays are rough on me. You know, just from past things that have happened to me during the holidays, and some of my experiences with work. Had some really bad calls. I work in the medical field. The holidays hit me always really hard, so of course the drinking increased even more. And and the worst part is, I knew I had a problem, but I could not seem to stop. I really just could not seem to stop. I wanted to, And, you know, I did, here and there. I was able to stop for a couple days. And then, you know, I'd have a few days off and I'd start drinking again on my days off. And the worst part is it transitioned from like drinking with friends, playing video games, things like that, to, while I'd still have drinks with friends from time to time, most of the time I would just be sitting there at the camper, back of my mind probably depressed. You know, I didn't necessarily feel like like I was, but I was also drinking. So, you know, drinking can kind of mask that, but I was, you know, definitely depressed and anxious and everything about my whole situation as well. You know, and if any of my subscribers have ever struggled with any of this stuff, feel free to comment, or, you know, reach out to me through Instagram. I've got the same name on Instagram as I do on my channel here, and I'll talk to you. You know, I'll shoot the shit with you. I'll help you as best as I can, even if it's just like listening to you rant and rave, because that helps a lot of times too. The biggest thing that I want to get across on this first video here, because this is actually going to be a series, biggest thing that I want to get across is, while you might feel like you're alone in the moment, you're not. You're really not. You know, there's way more people than you realize that go through the same thing. And you know, if you have a friend that you think might be going through something, hit them up. Ask them what you can do to help them. You know, just, and you know, some people are worried about insulting somebody that might be drinking a bit much. Trust me, they might get mad at you, but they ain't gonna hate you in the end. If you're coming from a positive place about everything, it's not gonna be a bad thing in the end. You can definitely comment on this video. Actually, I would welcome comments on this video, from anybody that might struggle with it, any type of addiction really, for that matter, or depression, anxiety. It's not a bad thing. You're not alone, trust me. So you can definitely like this video, subscribe, comment, welcome it. Make sure to click the little notification bell, and you'll know when I post a new video and everything. And if you comment, like, I mean, I definitely am pretty responsive to everybody. I comment back quite often.